Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway. Their pharmacists are here to help, offering a wide range of vaccines including flu, COVID, pneumonia, and RSV immunizations. Visit your local Safeway or schedule online at safeway.com/pharmacy.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.
Last night, people all over Colorado started celebrating Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. This is the start of the year 5786. So whether you observe or you just want to soak in the spirit of a new beginning, Shana Tova. And I hope I pronounced that even remotely right. I'm Arlo Pérez Esquivel. Coming up, fewer students from other countries are coming to our state's universities.
Anyone applying for a visa must now show their social media accounts and posts from the last 5 years.
Then, 2 hunters went missing and died in southern Colorado. Now we know how.
It's something that's extremely rare, but still dangerous, especially in the backcountry.
Plus, the decision to remove a statue is dividing a town.
Hey, maybe not everybody's completely prude. There's a naked woman right there, and nobody's having a problem with that.
It's Tuesday, September 23rd. Here's the news in Colorado today. First, Evergreen High School students are getting to return back to class later this week. The plan is for them to come back on Thursday and Friday. That'll be 2 weeks since the student opened fire in the school. They won't have classes right away. They'll have structured activities. Then on Monday, classes will start back up for half days. The school says this plan was shaped by several meetings with family members and student leaders, as well as with surveys that were sent out to all students. As for changes to the building itself, the Jefferson County School District says that the school had minor changes following the shooting. Some flooring got replaced, and posters were put up to cover markings left by law enforcement. They plan to make further changes down the line, but they haven't said what those will be exactly. The school will also have a full-time school resource officer assigned. Tomorrow evening, the school hosts an open house where parents can accompany their students to walk through the school at their own pace. Meanwhile, one of the students who was shot is now considered to be in fair condition at a local hospital. Matthew Silverstone's condition has been upgraded, so that's some good news. Fewer international students are attending Colorado's universities this fall. That's not a surprise, given the Trump administration's crackdown on student visa holders. But so far, the decline is not as steep as what was projected at the state's top university system. CPR's Jenny Brandine is here to break it down. Jenny, first remind us of the kind of changes that the White House made to the rules for students born in other countries.
Yeah, first you have to go back to this spring when the federal government revoked dozens of visas for international students. That included some at the University of Colorado and Colorado State University. No official reason was given, but it appeared to target students involved in campus protests, particularly those that were pro-Palestinian.
Yeah, I remember when that was all over the headlines. What has happened since then?
A lot. Starting in late May, student visa interviews were paused for a few weeks, and that was during what's typically the peak season for issuing visas. And there are some new rules, like anyone applying for a visa must now show their social media accounts and posts from the last 5 years. Those accounts also have to be public, even if they're no longer active.
Wow, that's a lot of scrutiny. The discussion at the time is that these changes were for national security reasons. Is that still the case?
Yeah, it is. The arguments are still that they're doing this for national security reasons, that and to make sure students aren't overstaying their visas. Of course, those moves have drawn lawsuits and concerns about free speech.
Okay, well, those changes have had a few months to show their real-world impacts. So what are we seeing?
It's causing delays and also some rejections, according to the University of Colorado at Boulder. And at U.S. consulates around the world, there are reports of very limited or no appointments for students in countries like India, China, and Nigeria. And that's a problem when you consider that as of July, applicants are now required to go through more interviews.
Wow, so a lot of red tape.
It is. All that oversight and vetting can make the process pretty difficult. And then on top of that, students from 12 countries, including Iran and Haiti, are now largely blocked from entering the U.S. Now, Arlo, I'm going to put you a bit on the spot. Can you guess the top 2 countries where Colorado's international students come from?
I'm going to say China's a safe bet and Mexico's a wishful thinking.
Well, you get 50% on that. So China was one and India is another. And what's interesting about China is students from China are completely banned, the White House says, if they have any association with the Chinese Communist Party and if they are studying in certain, quote, critical fields, but it hasn't specified what those critical fields are.
Wow, so with all that scrutiny, what kind of impact is it actually having on Colorado universities?
Well, last week, the University of Colorado released numbers for its campuses. CU Boulder typically leads the pack statewide for international students. International undergraduates there are down by 14%, plus an 8% drop for graduate students. But here's the thing, that's a smaller drop than was expected. I will say, at 2 other CU campuses, Denver and Colorado Springs, they saw drops of 20%. But one campus bucks the trend, CU Anschutz in Aurora. Its international student numbers rose 28%.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's 32 students.
Now, what about other universities in Colorado? The ones outside of the CU system, are they seeing declines or are they also bucking the trend?
They're seeing declines. The University of Denver and Colorado School of Mines both saw drops, and then Colorado State plans to release its numbers next month.
Jenny, as we're talking about the drops of international students, some people might wonder, why does this all matter?
Well, it really matters for schools because universities rely heavily on the higher tuition that these international students pay. And a report from the State Department said those international students contributed over $400 million to the state's economy last year. So this has a big impact on Colorado's economy.
Now, will this impact tuitions for students here? I often hear that international students are subsidizing local tuition.
Yeah, this year so far, it won't impact it because they've already set their budgets. And they predicted, remember I said they predicted that the numbers would be lower. But if this trend continues long term, it could spell trouble for schools' bottom lines.
We'll see what happens. CPR's education reporter, Jenny Brandine, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Two men who came to Colorado to hunt elk have been found dead, their bodies just a few miles from where their car was parked. We've just learned the reason. These 2 young men, Ian Stasko and Andrew Porter, were struck by lightning. KRCC's Brianna Heaney has been covering this story. Bri, who were these hunters?
Stasko and Porter were both 25 years old. Porter was from Asheville, North Carolina, and Stasko was from Salt Lake City. And they had gone on a hunting trip in south central Colorado in the Rio Grande National Forest. They were in some pretty rugged terrain, but their family said they were really experienced outdoorsmen.
So when were they reported missing?
They were reported missing by very worried family members when they didn't check in with them at the time they had originally planned to. 10 days ago now, deputies from the Conejos County Sheriff's Office found their car at a trailhead with a bunch of their belongings.
Oh.
Yeah, like camping gear and backpacks.
Oh, and imagine that's how they knew early on that they weren't intending to be out there that long.
Exactly. So that set off a massive search and rescue operation with dogs, drones, and even a privately owned Black Hawk helicopter. Conejo County Coroner Richard Martin said that early on there was no signs of foul play. And he pointed out that there was really bad weather the weekend they went missing. Yesterday, Porter's fiancé posted on Facebook that the 2 men were killed by lightning strikes as they were trying to get back to their car. A colleague in the newsroom here confirmed that information with the coroner.
That's so sad. Bree, a surprising fact that I learned while looking into this story is that Colorado ranks third for lightning strike-related deaths. So can we learn anything from Stasko and Porter's story?
Yeah, while that might sound scary, I should point out that lightning strikes have only killed 24 people in Colorado between 2006 and 2023. So it's something that's extremely rare, but still dangerous, especially in the backcountry. Experts suggest leaving high-risk areas like mountainsides when you see a storm rolling in, and coming down through the gullies instead of along the ridgelines. Getting below tree line should also be safer.
KRCC's Brianna Heaney, thank you so much.
Thanks, Arlo.
A controversial statue was removed on Friday from a downtown in western Colorado. Now, unlike similar stories, this was not a historical statue, nor was anyone who's become problematic in a modern lens. It was a statue of a naked woman.
I didn't expect it to be, like a super controversial thing. And she is supposed to represent joy. That's really why I built her.
Pavia Justinian is the artist behind this woman. CPR's Tom Hess spoke with her and has a story on why her statue was removed. Tom, where was the statue? And can you describe it a little more in detail, please?
Sure. This was a downtown open-air plaza in Fruita. Fruita, for the uninitiated, a mountain biking, whitewater rafting area, kind of as you're getting close to the border of Utah. And Fruita has a arts program that installs sculptures, and Justinian lives in Fruita, and she submitted this statue. The name is Zafira, and it's a naked woman. She's frozen in dance, and it is this sort of joyful aesthetic. She's, bending her back, one leg up, one leg down, arms over her head, something you might expect out of a ballerina. And she's many different colors. It's a mosaic piece that adds a lot of color and pop to it. But the controversial part is that you can see her genitalia. It is not the most photorealistic representation you've ever seen, but it was enough to spark controversy.
Okay, and how did the controversy boil up?
The sculpture went in earlier this month, and there's been a lot of discussion about it online, on social media, and that's led to the arguments you would expect from that forum. Critics were worried that this genitalia is right at eye level for kids. Supporters note that the entire history of art has plenty of nudity captured into it. Notably, folks referenced Michelangelo's David, which universally considered to be a masterpiece.
Yeah, I was going to say, the art world seems to be full of nudity, but it kind of sounds like the critics prevailed in this instance, right?
Yeah, the argument that this might not be in line with the public display won out with the Fruita Arts and Culture Board. They consulted with the artist and ultimately made the decision that it would be moved elsewhere. It's been pulled for now. It has not found its new home. They're still in the works on that. Probably going to be a less prominent spot and probably on private property. Now, some online commenters who were upset with the decision were poking some fun at the controversy and suggested that Fruita should change its name to Pruda.
I love that.
Now, I asked Justinian about it, and she was surprised.
Part of the role of public art is to start conversations, and, so plenty of people are going to have something to say about it. But she's actually been really embraced in most of the communities where I put her in, and every once in a while it doesn't go that way.
You can hear her alluding to the fact that the statue has kind of toured the state. It's actually won awards in other cities where it has been put on display. It's also gotten a little bit of pushback. In Parker, it was pulled from display early there as well, and Justinian said that didn't rise to quite the same level of public pushback that we saw in Fruita, but it did make an early exit.
And did Justinian say how this controversy might affect her and her art in the future?
She's not planning on changing her approach to art or even public art. And actually, she has another statue that's on display in Fruita right now, basically just across the street. And it's also a woman in the nude. But this one is made out of a pair of exhaust pipes. So there's a left pipe, a right pipe, and notably, for the purposes of this discussion, a gap down the middle of the body. Fruita City Council member James Williams mentioned this in a discussion over the statue that it hasn't caused any issues.
It's a naked woman as well, but it's not grotesquely a naked woman. So, hey, maybe not everybody's completely prude. There's a naked woman right there, and nobody's having a problem with that.
Whew, not grotesquely a naked woman. That is quite the use of that word.
Sure, and Justinian says that the decision to not have genitalia on this was not a deliberate choice or about censorship or anything. It was working with the form she had, which allowed her to use this negative space between the pipes and sort of have some thoughts and discussion about split personalities. And notably on the subject of art, she says she's got another piece that's about to go up and display on Grand Junction. They're going to be installing the new art in the corner here soon, so we'll see what happens there.
CPR's Tom Hess in the Western Slope. Thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you.
Additional reporting for today's show came from CPR's Yesenia Robles and Sandy Batulga. Thank you for listening to today's episode, and as always, if you have someone in your life that would benefit from getting their daily Colorado news in about 15 minutes, send us their way. I'm Arlo Perez Esquivel. This is CPR News.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway. Their pharmacists are here to help, offering a wide range of vaccines including flu, COVID, pneumonia, and RSV immunizations. Visit your local Safeway or schedule online at safeway.com/pharmacy.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.